네, 안녕하세요. 지금부터 제7회 국제문학술 발표대회를 시작하겠습니다. 저는 사단법인 한국국제문화오협회 사무국장 한승훈입니다. 네, 주말임에도 불구하고 시간을 내셔서 와주신 많은 참석자분들께 먼저 진심으로 감사의 말씀을 드립니다. 아울러 본 대회 참가자 여러분들의 많은 관심과 열정에도 감사 인사를 드립니다. 그럼 본 발표대회를 주관하는 저희 사단법인 한국국제문화오협회 이수연 이사장님의 인사 말씀 있겠습니다. 말씀은 영상으로 보시겠습니다.
안녕하십니까. 사단법인 한국국제문화오협회 이사장 이수연입니다. 사단법인 한국국제문화오협회는 대한민국 외교부 소관의 비영리 단체로 전 세계 많은 국가들과 다양한 국제교류 관련 프로그램을 진행하고 있습니다. 글로벌 인재 양성과 국제교류 활성화를 위한 국제문화학술 발표대회도 올해로 어느덧 7회를 맞이하게 되었습니다. 이번 발표 무대를 준비하기 위해 많은 노력을 기울인 저희 발표자들에게 진심으로 격려와 응원의 말씀을 드립니다. 또한 발표자들을 위해서 바쁘신 가운데 귀한 걸음을 해주신 가족 여러분, 내외빈 여러분, 학부모 여러분들께 진심으로 감사드립니다. 끝으로 이번 대회를 준비하기 위해 많은 노력을 기울여 주신 이경만 박사님과 아카데미 관계자 여러분, 그리고 학생 여러분께도 진심으로 감사드립니다. 고맙습니다.
네, 감사합니다. 다음으로 열방 아카데미 이경만 교장 선생님의 내빈 소개가 있겠습니다. 박수로 맞이해 주시기 바랍니다.
감사합니다. 저는 오늘이 될 때마다 늘 떨리고 감사하고 하나님께 감사합니다. 사실 이러한 대회를 통해서 우리 학생들이 영어 실력도 늘어나고 또 영어를 통해서 다양한 학문을 바라보고 표현하고 이야기하고 이러한 것을 늘 제가 한 30년 가까이 진행을 해왔습니다. 정말 매년 할 때마다 가슴 벅차고 참 그렇습니다. 저는 무엇보다도 우리 격려해 주시는 우리 학부모님들 또 선배 후배 이 자리를 함께 해주신 분들에게 정말 감사드립니다. 이러한 호응과 이러한 열정 없이는 성장할 수가 없습니다. 그래서 여러분들에게 다 감사를 드리고 더욱이 우리 이 대회를 축하하기 위해서 오신 내빈을 잠깐 소개하겠습니다. 그 내빈은 잠깐 일어섰다 앉아주시면 되겠습니다. 많기 때문에 먼저 지금 제가 참 존경하는 분입니다. 지금 우리 문화교류협회 이사장님 축사를 들으셨을 텐데 정말 굉장히 중증 장애자이십니다. 그러나 당신의 모든 것을 다 털어서 바로 국제의 이런 문화를 위해서 노력하고 계십니다. 그 중에 하나가 우리 이런 이제 국제 논문 대회를 허락해 주시고 이끌고 계십니다. 참 감사합니다. 그리고 기도 우리 인도해 주신 우리 오건택 목사님 감사합니다. 우리 오건택 목사님 정말 젊은 아이들을 신앙으로 가리키시는 거에 아주 목숨을 다하시는 분입니다. 정말 제가 존경하지 않을 수 없고 온 몸을 통해서 하고 계십니다. 감사합니다. 그리고 우리 김영복 전 대림사장 또 우리 관리 대표이사님 나오셨습니다. 잠깐 일어나세요. 저의 중학교 친구이고 가장 친한 친구고 제가 공부하면서 살아오면서 사실 저 친구를 닮고 싶어 했습니다. 그래서 늘 이렇게 이런 행사 때마다 와서 격려해 주셔서 감사합니다. 우리 김은우 우리 뉴미디어 전문가 그들도 아이였다 K-팝의 시간 베스트셀러 기자입니다. 잠깐 우리 이인남 대원 학원 원장님 오셨죠? 어디 계시죠? 잠깐 밖에 나가시는 것 같아요. 우리 종로 학원 컨설턴트를 제가 소개합니다. 먼저 우동화 우리 대원 한영외고 부장님이시고 우리 우동화 박사님 오셨습니다. 이상인 우리 한성과학고등학교 선생님이셨고 우리 또 이대희 고양외고 우리 부장님이셨던 우리 이대희 선생님 오셨습니다. 최보규 대원외고 그다음에 또 우리 교장선생 하신 최보규 교장선생, 김영윤 우리 대원외고 부장선생님 오셨습니다. 또 이분들은 다 이제 또 심사에도 또 참여해 주십니다. 그리고 우리 구성조 우리 총회 우리 교단 총회에서 일하시는 우리 장로님이십니다. 특별히 총회 차원에서 우리 이 대회를 좀 기사를 쓰시겠다고 해서 오셨습니다. 총회 정책위원이시고 역사위원회 자문위원이시고 한양대 중앙대 교수였습니다. 우리 장로님 어디 계시죠? 저기 뒤에 우리 취재 하시느냐고 저 뒤에서 그다음에 차유진 우리 예장 기독공보 국장님 오셨는데요. 아마 무슨 일이 있어서 사모님이 오시는 사모님 어디 계시죠? 손 한번 들어보시죠. 아직 도착 안 하셨나 봐요. 같이 그리고 김선영 우리 심리상담학 박사 제 아내입니다. 함께 참여해 주셔서 감사하고요. 그다음에 우리 정정료 교수님 저와 같이 오랫동안 같이 공부하고 같이 교수 생활 하시는 우리 교수님이십니다. 우리 늦게 제가 기대하지 않았는데 우리 케니 김 우리 교수님 중앙대학교 경제학과 우리 학과장이십니다. 감사합니다. 그리고 우리 정호영 우리 한양 프라이빗 우리 대표님 오셨나요? 아직 안 오셨네요. 그다음에 우리 지금 사회 보시는 우리 한승훈 우리 팀장님은 그냥 팀장님이 아니라 우리 협회의 팀장이시기도 하지만은 이분이 대원외고 제 제자입니다. 그리고 영어, 중국어에 아주 능통하신 분이에요. 그래서 우리 모든 논문들을 우리 팀장님이 다 검수하시고 잘잘못을 다 해서 같이 도와주는 그런 분입니다. 그래서 작년까지는 우리 학생들이 사회봤는데 올해부터 격을 높이기 위해서 우리 팀장님 직접 사회를 보십니다. 다시 한번 격려 주시면 좋겠습니다. 감사합니다. 이상입니다.
네, 소개 말씀 감사드립니다. 자, 이제부터 본격적 발표를 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 대회는 1, 2부로 나뉘어지며 한 부당 8개 팀 총 16개 팀이 발표를 합니다. 자, 오늘 대회 첫 번째 발표 열방 아카데미 오영광 천예준 학생이 하겠습니다. 박수로 맞이해 주시기 바랍니다.
Hello everyone, we are Oh Young-kwang.
천예준.
Today we will present a study on the value and practice of noblesse oblige for sustainability in modern society. Table of contents. Chapter 1, Introduction. Noblesse oblige has evolved beyond a simple moral virtue to become a core principle for maintaining social order and community sustainability. Chapter 2, Theoretical background. Number 1, etymology and meaning. Noblesse oblige is an expression of a social contract stipulating that power and privilege must lead to responsibility and service. Number 2, historical origin. Noblesse oblige rooted in the historical sacrifices of Roman aristocrats and the burghers of Callis. All social leaders are expected to use their power and wealth for the public good.
Number 3, the burghers of Calles, originating from the Roman aristocracy and the sacrificial examples of the burghers of Calles. Number 4, previous studies. Chapter 3, main body. Number 1, necessity in contemporary society. Noblesse oblige has evolved from a class-based virtue into a universal social contract for modern leaders. Number 2. Historical examples of leadership by example. These examples demonstrate that true leadership is defined during times of crisis. Modern examples. Person, 김만덕. Field, historical figure. Key contributions. Donated all her wealth during a famine in the late Joseon dynasty to help the people. Considered a representative example of noblesse oblige in Korea. Number 3. Statistics in Korean society. A. Scale of the wealthy class. Number 1. Percentage of total population. Statistics, approximately 0.9%. B. Scale of donations in Korea, individuals and corporations. Korea's annual donation scale is around 15 trillion. That general citizens also participate in giving back to society. C. Awareness of social contribution among the wealthy. Number 1. Donation and in-kind sharing. Response rate 78 to 88%. D. General donation and sharing statistics. As you can see, the overall national donation rate is declining. E. Social contribution of large corporations. Due to ESG management, Korean noblesse oblige is becoming corporate-centered, with investments expanding beyond simple donations.
F. Examples in the financial sector. Number 2. Category, growth rate. Statistics, 15.8% increase. G. Comprehensive summary of Korean statistics. Participation rates decreasing. H. Comprehensive analysis from the perspective of noblesse oblige. Korea's noblesse oblige is characterized by corporate-centered responsibility rather than individual philanthropy, driven largely by ESG management and conglomerates. Number 4. Recent trends. Korea's donation participation is declining due to economic constraints.
Number 5. A recent case involving a Korean company. The Samsung family completed the historic 12 trillion won inheritance tax payment in April 2026. The contribution of the Igoni collection to the nation. Chapter 4. Conclusion. Noblesse oblige is a historical principle asserting that social leadership is inseparable from moral responsibility. In Korea, while noblesse oblige is becoming corporate-centered. Chapter 5. References. Thank you for listening our presentation.
네, 감사합니다. 잘 들었습니다. 이어서 두 번째 발표 역시 열방 아카데미 김시아, 나준, 박효진, 안예진 학생입니다. 지킬앤 하이드를 주제로 발표를 하는데요. 박수 많이 부탁드리겠습니다.
Hello everyone, we are 안예진,
김시아,
나준, 박효진.
we are 9th grade students from All Nations Academy. Today, we will be presenting a study that explored the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde from a psychoanalytic perspective. Table of contents. Chapter 1, Introduction. This work explores the dual nature of humanity, especially the conflict between good and evil. This study examines how suppressing inner desires can lead to psychological fragmentation and danger through Freud and Jung.
Chapter 2, Theoretical Background. Number 1, Robert Louis Stevenson. He was a Scottish writer known for adventure stories and his exploration of human nature. His famous works are Treasure Island and The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Number 2, Plot and Message. The original title is The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. B. Psychoanalysis. C. Tragedy. Each message is suppressing the good and evil within human nature can lead to destruction.
Number 3. Main characters. A. Dr. Jekyll. Dr. Jekyll is a respected physician and scholar in London society. A gentleman, who value social status and honor, here on the unwavering trust of those around him. B. Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde is the alter ego brought into existence by Dr. Jekyll's experiments. Table 1. This table illustrates the duality of human nature through a comparison of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde.
Number 4. 지금스 Freud and Carl Jung. A. 지금스 Freud. He was an Austrian neurologist who founded psychoanalysis. He introduced the concept of the id, ego, and superego. B. Carl Jung. He was a Swiss psychiatrist and the founder of analytical psychology. He developed the concept of the collective unconscious, the shadow, and the persona.
Number 5. Freud's theory, id and ego. The id is the instinctive part of the mind that seeks immediate pleasure without considering consequences. In contrast, the ego balances these desires with reality and guides practical decisions. Table 2. This is the comparison of id and ego.
Number 6. Jung's theory, persona and shadow. A. The persona is the social mask people show to others. B. The shadow is the hidden and repressed side of the self. Table 3. This is the comparison between persona and shadow.
Number 7. We organized the previous study into 4 sections. Chapter 3. Main body. Number 1. Duality in the strange case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. A. Summary of core content. Dr. Jekyll creates the Hyde to separate his evil side. However, Hyde eventually takes control of his life. B. Insight into human duality. Jekyll loses control after the Hyde represents Jekyll's hidden desires. Number 2. Moral and psychological interpretation. The novel shows that everyone has both good and their inner evil. Jekyll loses control after separating his evil side, Hyde into Hyde.
Number 3. Ego and id in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. A. The ego and Dr. Jekyll. Dr. Jekyll represents Freud's ego, balancing his desires with reality and social expectations. However, his hidden desires cannot be completely suppressed. B. The id and Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde represents Freud's id. He acts on instinct without regard for morality or consequences and symbolizes Jekyll's suppressed desires. Table 4. This is the comparison of ego, Dr. Jekyll, and id, Mr. Hyde.
Number 4. Persona and shadow in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. A. The persona and Dr. Jekyll. Dr. Jekyll can be understood as an example of Jung's persona. The social mask, people wear to fit into society and maintain relationships. B. Mr. Hyde. Mr. Hyde represents Jung's shadow, the hidden and repressed side of Dr. Jekyll's personality. According to Jung, Hyde is the physical expression of the parts of ourselves that we try to hide or deny. Table 5. This is a comparison of persona, Dr. Jekyll, and shadow, Mr. Hyde.
Number 5. Quotes from the work. D. Jung's persona. Core, the respected doctor's social mask. I consult my pleasures. Analysis. Jekyll's persona is his moral and respectable image. When his shadow can no longer be controlled, it leads to his destruction. Chapter 4. Conclusion. This analysis applies Freud's and Jung's theories to Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. This novel portrays human duality and shows that suppressing desires can lead to destruction. These are the references we use for our study. We hope our analysis provided a deeper understanding of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Thank you for listening to our presentation.
네, 수고 많으셨습니다. 자, 이어서 세 번째 발표자는 이화여고 조유빈 학생 발표입니다. 여러분의 많은 박수를 부탁드립니다.
Hello everyone, my name is Julia Ivan Cho. I'm currently attending Iowa Girls High School. Today, I will present my research title, A Case Study Overcoming Female Prejudice in Two Works, Antigone by Sophocles and Tess by Thomas Hardy. My presentation will be divided by 5 parts. Chapter 1, Introduction. Chapter 2, Theoretical Background. Chapter 3, Main Analysis. Chapter 4, Historical Floor, Women's Suffrage. Chapter 5, Conclusion. Chapter 1, Introduction. The study examines how women face prejudice in 2 different historical periods. Chapter 2, Theological background. In ancient Greece, women had little social power. Antigone challenged this system through her actions. In Victorian England, women had judged by strict moral standards, thus become a victim of this prejudice. Components of historical context and gender bias. Although studying are different, both weeks show discrimination against women and their legends. Overview the development and women's rights by history periods. Women's rights gradually improved throughout history through social movements and reform. Chapter 3, Main Analysis. Antigone valued justice and family duty. She courageously stands against emperor authority. Thus make her dignity defy social judgments. Hardy criticized double standard against women. Since of overcoming women's rights limitation in Antigone. This ensures Antigone independence, courage, and moral strength. Since we uphold her dignity and authority. This demonstrates that Tess's dignity and her right to make her societies. Chapter 4, Historical for Women's Suffrage. Major 15 countries and their women's rights, women get suffrage. This table shows major countries grant women the right to vote. In Asia, helps her understand how women political rights expanded over time. The story of Antigone and Tess reflected the broader history of women's rights movements. Chapter 5, Conclusion. Bosworth criticized prejudice against women and highlights importance of equality and human rights. Thank you for listening.
네, 발표 잘 들었습니다. 감사합니다. 자, 이어서 네 번째로 미국 펜사콜라 크리스천 컬리지 재학 중인 진주 학생의 발표 있겠습니다. 발표는 영상으로 보시겠습니다.
Hello everyone. Today I will present Reaching Every Student with Cantor's Classroom Management Strategies. This presentation explains assertive discipline by Lee Cantor and Marlene Cantor and how we can connect with future-oriented education. Education is changing quickly because of technology and social changes. Teachers today do more than manage behavior. They also create positive learning environments. This presentation explains the main ideas of assertive discipline. Lee Cantor and Marlene Cantor developed assertive discipline in the 1970s. Their theory focuses on clear rules, consistent discipline, and positive reinforcement. Their work became very influential in classroom management, and their purpose is to give teachers a clear framework for maintaining order while respecting both teacher and student rights. Core principles of assertive discipline. There are several important principles in assertive discipline. Teachers should clearly explain classroom rules and apply them consistently. Positive reinforcement encourages good behavior. and step-by-step consequences help manage inappropriate behavior calmly. Role of the teacher. In this theory, teachers are classroom leaders. Teachers should communicate clearly, stay consistent, and show respect to students. One of the most important parts of effective teaching is communication. This means using clear, calm, and direct verbal and nonverbal communication with both students and parents. When teachers communicate in this way, students better understand expectations and feel more secure in the classroom. Building on that, another key principle is consistency. Consistency means applying rules and consequences uniformly, without exception. When students see that expectations are fair and predictable, it builds trust and helps create a stable learning environment. Finally, all of this connects to respect. Positive teacher-student relationships are built on mutual dignity and high expectations. When communication is clear and consistent, respect naturally grows between teachers and students. Advantages and limitations. Assertive discipline helps create organized classrooms with clear expectations. Students often feel safer in a structured environment. However, too many rules may limit student independence, and modern classrooms sometimes require more flexibility. Future-oriented instructional strategies. Future education is becoming more learner-centered. Important strategies including collaborative learning, project-based learning, individualized learning, and social-emotional learning. These approaches encourage participation, creativity, and communication skills. Integration of Cantor strategy and future education. Traditional classroom management and future-oriented education can work together. Teachers still need to provide structure and clear expectations while also giving students more responsibility and participation opportunities. Lastly, classroom management should support learning, not just control behavior. Teachers must balance structure and student freedom. In conclusion, future classrooms should combine clear expectations with learner-centered approaches to help students grow responsibility. Thank you.
네. 감사합니다. 다음으로 이화여고 이여송 학생의 발표가 있겠습니다. 공리주의를 주제로 발표를 하는데요. 박수로 맞이해주시기 바랍니다.
Hello everyone, my name is Lee Yasong in Ewha Girls High School. Today I want to tell you about a study on the development and limitations of utilitarianism. Table of Contents. Chapter 1, Introduction. This paper explores its theoretical development and issues focusing on utilitarianism. Analysis theoretical development with utilitarianism, focusing on differences between quantitative utilitarianism and qualitative utilitarianism. Chapter 2, Theoretical Background. 1. Jeremy Bentham John Stuart Mill. Jeremy Bentham emphasized the greatest happiness of the greatest number, which is called quantitative utilitarianism. In contrast, John Stuart Mill believed that the quality of leisure, individual freedom, and human dignity are also important, which is called qualitative utilitarianism. 2. Bentham's body. Jeremy Bentham donated his body for anatomy education and permanent display to contribute to the greatest happiness of the greatest number, and his remains are still preserved at University College London. 3. Basic principles of utilitarianism. Number 1. Greatest happiness principle. Number 2. Utility majority payment. Number 3. Consequential payment. 4. Quantitative utilitarianism and qualitative utilitarianism. 5. Systematization of utilitarianism. Utilitarianism judges morality based on human happiness. Jeremy Bentham developed it through pleasure calculation, and John Stuart Mill further emphasized qualitative pleasure and freedom. 6. Panopticon. The panopticon designed by Jeremy Bentham improved order through constant surveillance but was criticized for violating freedom and human rights. 7. Trolley's Dilemma. The trolley dilemma is if sacrificing one person to save 5 people is justified. Utilitarianism supports saving more lives, but intentional sacrificing remains controversial. 8. The Minuetto case. The Minuetto case involved sailors sacrificing one boy to survive, raising ethical issues about sacrificing the few for the many and showing the limits of utilitarianism. 9. Previous study. Chapter 3, Main Body. B. The core of the Epicurus School. Maximizing happiness, consequentialist personality. C. Background in medieval philosophy. Aquinas believed that human beings naturally pursue good and avoid evil through the idea of natural law. 2. Other social institutions that reflect utilitarianism. Number 3. Healthcare system. 3. The main problems of utilitarianism. B. Problem with measuring happiness. Happiness and pleasure are difficult to measure objectively. Utilitarian computation is practically impossible or can be distorted. 4. The most important thing argued in Mill's book on liberty. Mill not only emphasizes the right of individuals to think and act freely independently, but also saw the freedom of people to come together to form groups and pursue common goals as essential. 5. John Stuart Mill's key views on women. Number 3. Utilitarian justification. Explain that expanding women's freedom and rights contributes to the happiness and progress of not only women but society as a whole. Chapter 4, Conclusion. This paper focuses on utilitarianism and compares Bentham's quantitative utilitarianism with Mill's qualitative utilitarianism. References. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
네, 발표 잘 들었습니다. 감사합니다. 자, 이제 6번째죠. 발표자는 명덕외고 천예주 학생입니다. 큰 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.
Hello, my name is Chun Yeju from Myeongdeok Foreign Language High School. Today I will begin my presentation on the topic, a study on the debate between liberalism and communitarianism in contemporary political philosophy, focusing on a comparative analysis of John Rawls and Michael Sanders' theories. This is my content. Chapter 1, Introduction. Modern political philosophy is broadly divided into two major currents. One is liberalism, which centers on individual freedom and rights. The other is communitarianism, which emphasizes communal values and moral solidarity. At the heart of this debate stand the liberalism of John Rawls and the communitarian critique advanced by Michael Sanders. This paper seeks to systemically examine the ideas presented in our Rawls's theory of justice in order to better understand this central philosophical controversy. Chapter 2, Theoretical Background. Number 1, John Rawls's theory of liberalism. The core of Rawls's theory is justice as fairness. A. John Rawls. One of the most influential political philosophers of the 20th century, John Rawls, reformulated the liberal conception of justice. B. Philosophical background. C. John Rawls's liberalism. 1. Liberal theory. 2. Liberal characteristics. Number 2. Michael Sanders. A. Sanders' basic position. Sanders advocates communitarian republicanism, seeking to restore civic virtue and shared moral purposes. B. Sanders' communitarian theory. Sanders' communitarian theory begins with a critique of liberal individualism. He emphasizes that human beings form their identities and values within communal texts. Number 3. Utilitarianism. A. Jeremy Bentham. B. Quantitative utilitarianism. C. John Stuart Mill. D. Qualitative utilitarianism. Chapter 4. Previous studies. Chapter 3. Main body. Number 1. John Rawls's theory. Throughout the study experiment, Rawls derives the principles of justice that rational individuals would choose. A. The two principles of justice. B. Procedural justice. Table 1. John Rawls, his core theory and procedural justice overview. C. Liberal characteristics. D. Contemporary applications. E. Rawls's liberal critique of utilitarianism. 1. Neglect of individual rights. 2. Emphasis on efficiency over justice. 3. Risk of justifying inequality. Throughout this device, John Rawls argues that it is possible to move beyond the majority-centered logic of utilitarianism. Number 2. Communitarianism. A. View of the self. B. Conception of justice. C. Critique of political naturality. D. Communitarian republicanism. Sanders' communitarianism moves beyond the right-centered liberal political philosophy and instead highlights civic virtue and active citizenship within a shared moral framework. E. Contemporary implications. By emphasizing the common good and civic virtue, he argues that democratic societies must move beyond the mere protection of rights and realize communal solidarity and shared responsibility. Chapter 4. Conclusion. In a theory of justice, Rawls criticizes utilitarianism for permitting the sacrifice of minority rights for the sake of majority utility and establishes justice as the first virtue of social institutions. By contrast, Sanders' communitarianism challenges the conception of the individual presupposed by Rawlsian liberalism. He criticizes the idea of an unencumbered self as an overly abstract account of human beings. This paper has also pointed out that Sanders' communitarianism contains the risk of relativizing individual freedom and rights. When communal values are overly emphasized, individual choice and minority rights may be suppressed. Throughout examining the tension and mutual criticism between these two traditions, this study seeks to propose a philosophical foundation for balancing justice and the common good in contemporary society. Chapter 5. References. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
네, 감사합니다. 이어서 서울사회복지대학원 대학교 최대욱 학생의 발표가 있겠습니다. 작년에도 참가를 하셨죠? 예, 이번에 복지제도를 주제로 발표를 하는데요. 박수 부탁드리겠습니다.
Hello everyone, my name is Choi Dae-wook from Seoul Social Welfare Graduate University. Today, I will talk about the history of welfare system and research on the Korean welfare system. Table of contents. My talk has 4 parts: introduction, theoretical background, main body, and conclusion. Introduction. Korea spends only 50.2% of GDP on welfare. The OECD average is 22.1%. As you can see in this chart, the gap is very large. Korea ranks 34 out of 38 OECD countries. This paper aims to do three things. First, review history and theory global welfare system. Second, compare selective and universal system through three philosophical lenses. Third, critically assess Korea's welfare system and propose reform direction. Why is Korea's welfare so low? That is my question. Theoretical background. Welfare system started in 1601 with the poor laws in England. After that came the industrial era, industrial revolution, and early labor protection. Then the emergence of social insurance, public health, and social insurance. Then the welfare state expansion was built. And today we have contemporary welfare system and international standard. There are two types of welfare system. Welfare state, welfare, selective welfare only for vulnerable groups, universal welfare for all citizens. In Korea uses both. Three thinkers help us understand welfare: Ben Dam and John Rawls and Michael Sandel. All three agree welfare must protect the vulnerable and reduce inequality. Here is the previous research. There are world studies and Korea studies. In the world, scholars made welfare model and called welfare right. In Korea, scholars studies universal and selective welfare and today's problems. Main body. Korea has a hybrid welfare model. Some programs are selective and some are universal. For example, health insurance covers everyone, but basic living security system is means tested. National pension. Korea's national pension started in 1988. It is now the world's third largest fund. It was designed for all citizens, but about 13% of elderly people still not get pension. Design is universal, but the results are not. This table shows three thinkers. Ben Dam likes welfare if it is useful. Rawls cares about fairness. He likes welfare for all. And Sandel cares about community. He also likes welfare for all. So all three support for everyone. Korea's welfare reality. Korea has 5 big problems: welfare gaps, elderly poverty, labor gaps, regional gaps, weak public support. The most serious elderly poverty is 40.4%. That is 3 times the OECD average. Why did Korea's welfare develop slowly? 4 reasons: growth first thinking, family culture base, anti-tax feeling, political history. In the 1980s, Korea spends only 2% of GDP on welfare. Conclusion and future direction. Korea needs 5 changes. First, redefine welfare as a right for all citizens. Second, close the welfare blind spots. Third, reform the pension. Fourth, expand social insurance. Fifth, strengthen tax base. I will finish with this message. Building a better welfare system is not just helping the poor. It is the investment in the future of Korean society as a whole. Thank you. I welcome your question.
네, 발표 잘 들었습니다. 감사합니다. 자, 이제 1부의 마지막 발표입니다. 네, 대전에 있는 모건대학교 대학원에 재학 중인 투르크메니스탄 헤르자예바 야제말 학생의 발표입니다. 큰 박수로 부탁드리겠습니다.
morning, everyone. My name is Hirzavi Jamal. Today I'm presenting my research on how to rapid life cycle of short-form video content on TikTok is fundamental, accelerating the evolution of contemporary youth slang with Korean digital discourse, investigating a specialized corpus of 6 data points collected from the account Korean Slang 101 across January and February 2026. This study examines how digital architecture reshapes language structure and social functions. First one is historically slang diffusion operated through slow localizer face-to-face social network. TikTok alters this dynamic via 3 distinct mechanisms: explosive viral speed, the concentrated digital activity of the MZ and alphabet generation, and an algorithm-driven For You page that instantly decentralized content distribution beyond standard follower networks. Together, this mechanism transformed the platform passive repository of slang into an active linguistic pressure cooker. To analyze this phenomenon, my research synthesizes 2 structural and social frameworks. One hand, Leonard Bloomfield's 1933 classic taxonomy is used to classify the linguistic morphology into 4 structural types: abbreviation, phoneme mispronunciation, shortened forms, and interjection. On the other hand, Connie Abel's 1996 solitary theory provides the interpretive lens to understand how this structure actively construct in group social identity via semantic shift, clipping, and phonological change. Essentially, Bloomfield clarifies what the slang structure is and why it what it does socially. Quantitatively, our 6 data points reveal that interjection constitutes the largest structural category at 33%, closely followed by shortened forms at 31%, abbreviation at 23%, and phoneme mispronunciation at 11%. Combined 55 majority share abbreviation and shortened form directly highlights a strong use preference for communication efficiency and driven by mobile-first typing constraints. Crucially, my data exposed distinct linguistic subtypes unique to Korean digital discourse. First, Choseong typing, which are constantly only abbreviation like OK and Leal that capitalize on Hangul's syllabic structure, allowing form typing compression with no parallel in Roman alphabet languages. Second, euphemistic initialism, that is GMT, Converse Standard Korean. Profanity into Romanized abbreviation is strategically specifically deployed to circumvent automatic content filters while preserving intensive expressive meanings. And our analysis of phoneme mispronunciation highlighted localized playful linguistic experimentation such as regional numeric sound muson iliku and Japanese phonetic loan blend ankimoti. On the shortened form side, we observed structural compound clipping like kapunsa and cross-linguistic adaptation like wallabel, which have successfully crossed over the digital subcultures into standard mainstream register. When tracking social utility, the data indicates that Korean youth slang is highly strategic. Communal identity construction was the dominant function at 38%, validating Abel's solitary framework. This was followed by softening and evading moderation at 30%, writing shortening at 18%, and purely humorous interaction at 13%. The central theoretical contribution of this study is identification of TikTok as a lexical accelerator. Platform-specific mechanisms such as rapid comment-to-caption loop, algorithmic distribution, and collaborative dude-sit options compress language adaptation cycle from a historical scale of years down to a matter of more days. Paradoxically, the data demonstrates that string platform architecture does not suppress linguistic evolution, it accelerates it. This manifests as Korean-specific iteration of AlgoSpeak. Korean users creatively weaponize Hangul structural affordance, such as using the constant form michota or blending phrase into halman han to hide aggressive, hostile, or intensive intent from automatic moderation system. In conclusion, my study yields 4 critical takeaways. First, framework extension. Bloomfield classic slang typology is validated but requires modern digital expansions to account for constant only typing and cross-linguistic compound clipping. Second, identity predominance. Slang function primarily as an index of generation-specific communal identity, not just as tool for lazy communication, brevity. Third, timeline compression. Algorithmic loops drastically shorten the slang adaptation life cycle from years to weeks. Fourth, architectural provocation. Stricter algorithmic moderation actively triggers higher rates of user linguistic innovation, contribution directly to global AlgoSpeak literature. Practically, this finding highlights that modern translation models and AI content moderation filters much shift away from static vocabularies. Thank you very much. I'm open to for questions.
네, 흥미로운 주제 잘 들었습니다. 경청해 주신 모든 분께 감사드리면서 이곳으로 1부가 끝났습니다. 지금 시간이 11시 21분인데요. 10분 휴식하신 뒤에 11시 31분에 2부를 진행하겠습니다. 잠시 뒤에 뵙겠습니다. 감사합니다. 네, 참고로 화장실은 여러분 편 저 우측 통로에 보이시는데 1층에 여자 화장실이 있고요. 지하 1층에 남자 화장실이 있습니다. 네, 1층 여자 화장실 옆쪽에 음수대가 있으니까 물 드실 수 있습니다.